welcome to our blog. Today's discussion is about what exactly is an uncontested divorce. The term is used quite often, but it's not really defined in the Florida statutes. But basically what an uncontested divorce is that both you and your spouse agree on all issues associated with the divorce. If there are children involved, you would start with, well, we know exactly how we're going to share parenting time. We know how we're going to do decision making, like what school do they go to, what doctors do they visit. All of that you've agreed to. With child support, that's quite a bit easier because there's a formula that the Florida legislature has codified in the Florida statutes, and basically it's your income and your spouse's income, and you average that together with the number of kids and also allowable expenses like mandatory retirement payments, health insurance payments, and you get a number which you're required to pay. Now on to assets, it would be, well, do we have a marital home? Who's going to stay in the home? Are we going to sell the home? So basically it's just how are we going to apportion our assets? Who gets what? It should be equitable. You don't want to have something that's so unequitable that a Florida judge may take a second look at it in a final hearing. Then you also have debts. How are you going to apportion the debts? Are they marital debts, premarital debts? You should have all of that worked out. If you have a situation where the couples have been married for a while and one spouse earns substantially more than the other spouse, then you'll have to have a discussion about, well, are we going to pay alimony and for how long? In a lot of my uncontested divorces, I do not have alimony involved, but I do actually have a few that have alimony payments built into them. So you can really negotiate anything in an uncontested divorce. Now, here are the advantages of it. People really underestimate, if they've never been through this process, how much stress and toll and expense that a divorce can take on you. And the uncontested divorce really, although it's not unstressful getting a divorce, it really minimizes the impact that you'll feel. Many times, if you come to a fair arrangement, it's going to be pretty close to what a judge would order. So it's really in your best interest to come to an equitable arrangement and have it done. Now, how does the process work? As an attorney, I can only represent one party, but typically I'll represent one of the other spouses, and I'll prepare a lot of the paperwork. It would be the initial petition, the marital settlement agreement or consent judgment. I'll help my client with financial affidavits, the disclosures that may be done, making sure that the whole process is done quickly. I'll contact the court to get the final hearing set up. If there are children involved, we'll provide the information so you can take a parenting class, which is required by the court. Basically, I'll do a lot of systems work which you may not be familiar with. Calculating the child support's another example. Once we've done the initial work, since I can't represent both parties, I won't meet with the other spouse. But if everybody's in agreement, the Florida Supreme Court website provides approved forms that the other spouse can file. Often they'll file an answer which basically agrees with everything that's in the petition because they know it's coming because it's uncontested, and a waiver of appearance at a final hearing is a form that is on the Florida Supreme Court website. They'll also need to submit a financial affidavit. Again, that form is on the Florida Supreme Court website. Once we've had all of the documents filed in the case, usually about 4 to 6 weeks after the initial filing, I will go with my client to what is basically they call an ex parte hearing here in Duval County, and we'll go sit down in front of one of the circuit judges, and I'll ask my client a few questions. The the first and most important question will be, have you lived in Florida for 6 months? And ask them to produce a driver's license. I'll ask them a question, is the marriage irretrievably broken? Which is basically, can you, another legal word, is there a hope that you can save the marriage? Then I'll ask about the marital settlement agreement or the consent judgment, and a few other questions. And that'll be it. 10 minutes later, you'll walk out of there, in most cases, divorced, and the whole process will be done in a couple of short months in most cases. It's much better to do this approach. I charge a flat rate, so as long as you and your spouse don't begin contesting issues, you can predict exactly how much it's going to cost you to go through the entire process. If you have any more questions about this process, I'm available for a free consultation. You can call me on the phone or you can come into my office. Again, my name is Chris Taylor. My telephone number is 904-339-5298 or 904-339-LAW-8.